Sometimes we encounter people whose sincerity is hard to discern. They smile, speak kind words, yet hide completely different intentions beneath the surface. The Stoics used to say, "Judge a person not by their words, but by their silence." Because the greatest weapon of a fake person is their tongue. They are skilled at manipulation, playing with emotions, and always speaking as if they are right. In this video, we will explore the 8 most common phrases used by fake people. What are these expressions? By watching until the end, you will recognize them too. At the same time, you will understand the psychological intentions hidden behind each phrase and the Stoic approach to them. If you're ready, let's begin. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the video. Your support is invaluable to us and allows us to create more meaningful content for you. Now let's dive into the main topic. Fake people have always existed, and they still do today. They are not far away. They are often the ones closest to us. Most of the time, we simply fail to recognize them because they mask themselves with their words so skillfully that identifying them becomes difficult. But Stoic philosophy helps us see through these false expressions. So, what words do these people most often use when interacting with us? The first phrase most commonly used by fake people is, "I never lie." This statement is not, as many might think, proof of honesty. In fact, it is a warning signal. When someone says, "I never lie," it usually stems from a need to appear trustworthy. If a person is truly honest, they feel no need to prove it. Their actions, gaze, and calmness speak for themselves. Fake people, however, create an image with words that they constantly try to protect. They want you to believe in them because deep down, they do not even trust themselves. This phrase is their shield, a mask hiding the lies within. Stoics often emphasized, truth comes quietly. Lies make noise. A genuine person is calm because they have nothing to hide. A fake person talks excessively, explains unnecessarily, and constantly tries to convince others they are right. Inside, there is fear. If the mask slips, their true self will be revealed. Such people often give long speeches about honesty, but in real life, the trace of that word is hard to find. They call small lies white lies or justify themselves with phrases like, "I just wanted to protect your feelings." For Stoics, however, truth was more important than comfort. They said, "A person who lies first deceives their own soul." Once a lie is told, it takes root inside, stealing mental peace and disturbing conscience. Outwardly, everything may seem normal, but internally, fragmentation occurs. The person becomes unreliable even in their own eyes. That is why fake people strive so hard to appear honest, because they cannot silence the confusion within. By saying, "I never lie," they are, in essence, pleading with their own conscience. Believe me, it is important to understand that lies poison us not only when told to others, but also when told to ourselves. If a person's words and actions align, there is no need for them to claim, "I never lie," because their life already speaks that truth. So when someone tells you, "I never lie," simply smile. This phrase reveals anxiety, not honesty. Truth does not explain itself, it simply exists. Fake people defend themselves with words. Real people prove themselves through silence. And for the Stoics, the highest form of honesty was being true to oneself. The second most common lie fake people use is, "I treat everyone the same." In reality, very few people are capable of truly treating everyone equally. This phrase is in a way a mask of "I am fair." Behind it, however, often hides self-interest, favoritism, and hypocrisy. Fake people structure their relationships based on personal gain. They consider who can benefit them and how appearing a certain way will serve them. If you are useful to them, they seem to be the kindest, most understanding, and loyal person in the world. But the moment they sense they cannot gain anything from you, their behavior changes. Coldness, distance, or even anger may suddenly appear. They see you not as a human being, but as a tool. For Stoics, this approach was completely contrary to their philosophy. They believed that justice, equality, and respect are not choices, they are matters of character. Marcus Aurelius said, "Value a person simply for being a human, not for what they give you." This is simple yet profound. Fake people build relationships on reciprocity. Stoics build them on values. The former acts to gain, the latter acts because it is their nature. When a fake person says, "I treat everyone the same," it is often a defense mechanism. They want to hide their double standards. Deep down, they know they treat the strong differently from the weak, the ones whose praise they desire differently from those they cannot benefit from. Stoics, however, taught, if you want to know what a person is truly like, observe how they treat someone weaker than themselves, not you. This reveals everything. A fake person never treats anyone who does not serve their interest equally. Justice is not a value to them, it is a role. Wear it when convenient, remove it when not. A real person's behavior is consistent. They evaluate people not by their role, but by their values. For Stoics, justice and equality were not just ideals, they were ways of living. They did not seek reasons to be honest with others. It was simply in their character. So when someone says, "I treat everyone the same," watch closely. Notice the subtle differences in their actions. Truth is revealed not in words, but in behavior. A real person does not need to say this. Their calm, consistent actions speak it themselves. A fake person says it because the sense of fairness no longer exists inside them. They only want to appear just. Now let's move on to the third phrase used by fake people. "I was thinking about you." On the surface, this sounds very pleasant. It creates a warmth inside, making you feel valued, as if the other person has not forgotten you. But more often than not, this phrase is the beginning of manipulation. The reason a fake person says, "I was thinking about you," is usually not genuine concern. It is a way to regain control of the connection. For a fake person, relationships are not about feelings, they are a game. They monitor reactions, not emotions. If you respond emotionally, saying, for example, "Really?" or "I was thinking about you too," they have already drawn you back into the game. This phrase acts as a key for them. With it, they knock on your door to see if you will let them in. The Stoics describe such behaviors very precisely. They said, "Not every attention is kindness. Some are simply looking for a weak spot." This is a profound observation. Often, a fake person's attention carries no genuine intent. It is a calculated move. They know exactly when to message, when to stay silent. This is not thinking about you. It is a method of control. Sometimes these people return even years later. A message, a smile, sometimes just a single line. "I was thinking about you." But what lies behind this phrase? A sense of conscience or a need for control hidden under nostalgia. The Stoics would say, if an action does not bring you peace, it is not kindness. If this message stirs confusion, nostalgia, or pain, they are not truly thinking of you, they simply want to unsettle you. When a fake person says, "I was thinking about you," it is often the voice of their ego. They want to check whether they still have a place in your life. They may fear losing you, but in reality, they fear losing their control over you. For such people, relationships are based not on mutual values but on dominance. What matters to them is not knowing they are loved, but seeing whether you are still under their influence. The fifth phrase fake people use is, "I didn't mean to hurt you." On the surface, this sounds soft, understanding, and remorseful. But often, it is the subtlest form of avoiding responsibility. They know very well what they have done, but refuse to take responsibility. Instead, by presenting themselves as a victim, they aim to make you feel guilty. This way, they both escape accountability and draw attention to themselves. The behavior behind this is a game: emotional manipulation. A fake person understands how their words or actions affect you, but instead of admitting it, they blur responsibility by saying, "I didn't mean to." It is essentially a statement of, "I am not at fault." This calms you while protecting themselves. Stoics advise that responsibility lies between intent and outcome. You may not act with bad intent, but if the result causes harm to another, you are accountable for that outcome. Epictetus said, "If you do not mean to say something, do not say it. If you say it, take responsibility for it." A simple yet profound lesson. If our words and actions affect others, we are responsible for that effect. Mere intention is sometimes not enough. In life, attention matters as much as intent. The fifth phrase, another one, used by fake people is, "I've changed." This is one of a fake person's favorite tools. With these words, they try to convince you again, to awaken the last fragment of hope inside you. They know very well that people want to believe in change. We all hope for a second chance, redemption, a fresh start. But the fake person exploits this belief. When they say, "I've changed," they usually expect something from you: forgiveness, attention, or acceptance again. The words sound convincing, but their behavior remains the same. Same lies, same games, same manipulations, only more subtly this time. They have already learned how to act from past mistakes. For Stoics, true change is not a statement, it is a process. They said, if someone has changed, time will show it. Nature changes silently. It never announces it. Nature changes quietly. The snow melts. The sun rises, spring arrives, yet none of it declares, "I have changed." The same principle applies to humans. If you have truly changed, you don't need to announce it. Your energy, behavior, and calmness speak for themselves. Fake people cannot manage this silence. They are impatient. They want immediate acceptance, immediate belief. That is why they try to restore trust verbally by saying, "I've changed." From a Stoic perspective, trust is restored after it is broken only through consistent action. This is not a matter of one day or 1 month. It is the test of persistent calmness, steady behavior, and genuine sincerity. True change begins with surpassing your past, not convincing others. Remember, time reveals everything. Words of a fake person fade, but the behavior of an honest person takes root. A truly changed person does not announce it. They simply do not repeat the same mistakes. You've probably heard this phrase often. "You've changed a lot." This is the sixth expression commonly used by fake people. At first glance, it sounds simple, even innocent. But in reality, it is one of the subtlest and most profound forms of manipulation. When a fake person says this, their goal is not to make you reflect. It is to push you back into your former self. Why? Because you no longer play their games. You've set boundaries, and they feel this as a loss. With this phrase, they want to stir guilt within you. Look, you used to be more understanding, gentler, now you've changed. In truth, you have changed, and that's not a bad thing. You no longer stay silent, say yes to everything, or compromise your values. You no longer sacrifice your calmness to please everyone. This is a threat to the fake person. They thrived on your weaknesses, your compassion. Patience and silence gave them the upper hand. Now those areas are closed off, and you have taken control into your own hands. The Stoics said, if they say you've changed, it means you are free. As a person grows, their priorities shift. They no longer listen to every voice, bend to every opinion, or lose themselves for every relationship. In reality, this is evolution, a manifestation of inner calm and self-awareness. Fake people cannot accept this. By saying you've changed, they try to return you to your old self, the version that would always comply, justify them, and make them comfortable. This phrase essentially means you no longer behave the way I want you to. But from a Stoic perspective, this is a sign of growth. Change does not mean becoming harsher or colder. Change means learning to protect your values and not being influenced by everyone. Marcus Aurelius said, if someone does not understand you, you are not obliged to change. Just remain calm. Silence can sometimes be the strongest response. Those who accuse you of changing are actually upset that you no longer play the roles they expected. That is their problem, not yours. True growth is measured by the increase in your calmness and loyalty to your own values. Yes, you have changed, and this is ultimately a positive and necessary transformation. I'm just being honest. This is the seventh expression commonly used by fake people, and it probably sounds familiar. Fake people often wield it like a shield. They use this phrase to avoid responsibility for their words, presenting their criticism as truth. But with careful observation, you realize this is not honesty. It is a subtle cover for ego. A person who says, I'm just being honest, often speaks words that hurt others without regard for their feelings. Then adds, I'm just telling it like it is. However, honesty is measured not by how harsh your words are, but by your intention. If your goal is to help and clarify, that is sincerity. If your goal is to criticize, dominate, or weaken someone else, that is arrogance. The Stoics were very clear on this matter. They said, if your words wound someone, it is not reason speaking, but passion. True honesty is the ability to speak the truth without destroying others. You can correct someone and humiliate them, or you can correct them with compassion and make them reflect. It is a subtle difference, but the entire distinction lies here. Fake people do not understand this difference. Their honesty is a method of justifying themselves. While criticizing others, they hide their own insecurities. Those who try to elevate themselves by diminishing others carry a great void inside. The phrase, I'm just being honest, is an attempt to cover that void. Stoic thought teaches us that the value of a word is measured by the calm it brings. If your words create fear, anger, or shame, that is not honesty. Truth can be spoken without hurting others. You can express a thought powerfully, gently, and clearly. Epictetus said, if your intention is goodness, how you say it should also be good. A sincere person's words do not cut like a knife. They illuminate like light. Honesty is not about raising your voice. It is about knowing why you speak. Remember, a fake person says, I'm just being honest to protect their ego. But a genuine person often speaks more truthfully in silence. As the Stoics said, the silence of truth is stronger than the noise of lies. Finally, the eighth expression, I want what's best for you. I'm sure this phrase is very familiar to you, and on the surface it sounds warm and caring. People immediately think maybe their intentions are good, but often this is one of the most dangerous tools of manipulation. A fake person makes decisions on your behalf while hiding their own interests. They control you but present it as love, care, or goodwill. Think about it. What does it mean when someone says, "I want what's best for you," yet acts without considering your choices, boundaries, or opinions? It is an interference with your freedom. They appear to be doing good, but in reality, they are pulling you into their game. The game works like this. If you don't comply, they make you feel guilty. If you do, they keep you under their influence. The Stoics describe this situation precisely. No one knows your well-being better than yourself. Indeed, no one can manage another person's life, choices, or inner peace better than the individual themselves. Control disguised as good intentions is actually a violation of your boundaries. In short, it is a trap hidden under the guise of care. Fake people often use this to justify themselves. They say, "You don't understand, I know what's best for you." But Stoic thought teaches that staying true to your values and choosing your own path is far more important than accepting someone else's good intentions. True care is different. It supports without violating boundaries. It guides without forcing, leaving the choice to you. A sincere person's intention is not to control you, it is to empower you. The manipulation behind "I want what's best for you" often remains hidden for a long time. At first you perceive it as love and care, but over time you realize you are suffering. This is a game designed to create emotional dependency. The Stoics said, "Do not disturb your peace for the sake of another's intentions." If someone tries to control you, you do not need what they call good. True freedom is the right to accept or refuse someone else's good. If someone takes your freedom under the guise of doing good, it is not good, it is control. Remember, you are the master of your own life. Your well-being is shaped by your choices. Accepting someone else's good is only beneficial if it empowers you, not controls you. And for the Stoics, this is the most important lesson. Your freedom comes before anyone else's intentions. Recognizing fake people is less about exposing them and more about learning to protect yourself. For the Stoics, this is not a battle with external enemies. It is a practice of inner vigilance. Always remember, sincerity never makes noise, yet it changes everything. In life, choose quiet and deep sincerity over false voices. Pay attention to the words spoken to you. If you hear any of these 8 phrases in your interactions, pause and reflect. Approach them with doubt. Question the sincerity behind the words. And do not stop there. Recognize the person's falseness. Thank you for watching this far. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the video so our friends can also benefit from this knowledge. See you in the next video.